Today it's Ninja and Jack here. Jack's got some fatigue and some stuff going on in your hands. How would you describe it, man?
Oh, it's been like waking up at night times feeling like my hands are really stiff, purely like through the palms, just feeling like I really need to stretch them out. So I've been having to get up and stretch them out a little bit, and not quite being able to get to release on my own. So.
Yeah, right. Let's work on it.
Great.
So yeah, I'm keen to have a chat with you as well, man. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You.
Funny that.
For a chat.
Funny that. So so it's had our celebration of MMT 2022 last week. So it was a big week. We pumped it up. We set it up 8 months ago. So we said 8 months ago, gave everybody in the whole team a challenge, including the digital guy that's got the camera there right now. So I set the challenge to be able to do double your body weight for a deadlift, 1.5 times for a squat, do 20 pull-ups, 50 push-ups without stopping, and complete a sprint session. So, and I left everybody to their own devices, and it was more of a challenge for certain people. Like I know, like you and Scotty and a few Wana, like they don't. More probably the mind can teach us how to be still. So probably a bit more of a challenge for you, I'd say, than probably some of the others that are already doing this kind of training. So anyway, how did you go about it, and how did you feel during that 8 months, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean it was an interesting 8 months. It's been a pretty wild year, to be honest. It's been one of the things I've been reflecting on is this is my 3rd year at MMT, but it's also my first full year on the tools, because the first 2 years obviously was with the pandemic, and we'd be on for we'd be on for a month, and then we'd be off for 6 weeks, and then we'd be on for 2 weeks, and then we'd be off for 3 months. Like it was just and then we'd have we'd be on, we'd be off, and you'd start doing a bit, and then then everything would go sideways, and you'd have to start all over again. So it was it was a very different experience, trying to having to keep that momentum all year. But in terms of the training and stuff, I was with Das at lift clubs, I reckon probably 4 times out of 5 for the whole year. Even before the challenge was set, but that just kind of helped me be like a little bit more kind of intentional about it. So that was really cool. Found it a bit more challenging to get to the sprints, mostly because there wasn't a sprint class running for most of the year, and I didn't not in Richmond anyway. And like with that, I'm working on Friday evenings, so I can't make it out to the gully if I'm treating people. So that made that a bit more challenging, especially because it's not, like you say, it's not an area I have really any experience in prior to this. So it's not really the kind of thing I was equipped to do on my own. That said, I did a bit of my own more like longer distance running, and I think that all helped quite a bit, kind of getting my biomechanics together, and because I do it all barefoot anyway, or at least in barefoot shoes.
Bit of trail running, was you?
Yeah.
On the beach
trails and that nice smooth concrete.
The concrete trails.
Down by the beach. Trails. That's a good spot in there, near the top of that metatarsal there.
Yeah, man. Bloody metatarsal.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'll fix it up.
But yeah, it was definitely the hardest one was the pull-ups for me. Because I just don't have a whole, upper body strength's just not something that's my forte at all. It's just not somewhere, even when I'm treating, I'm using my arms, but a lot of the force comes from the rest of my body. It's just it's a channel for all the force that I've got in my lower body. That's definitely where the majority of my strength is, which is why I think, stuff like the squats I find quite straightforward.
You're a good squatter.
Thanks, man. It's it was good, and I loved the sprints on Friday. I was sick, being able to go through the whole thing. Those juds to finish up were brutal and brilliant at the same time. It's fucking awesome. It's just nice to feel the feel my body being able to move like that and work like that.
Yeah.
And you know, like especially in light of because I was a bit sick a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah.
Right, like 2 weeks prior to 2 weeks prior to that's a good one there. 2 weeks prior to the big event, being out for a week, pretty crook.
Yeah.
And then you know having to kind of ease my way back. You know, wanting to kind of ease my way back in so that I'm not overstretching and putting myself in even more trouble. Having to recover for even longer. I had 2 whole weeks just before of not training, which kind of served as a bit of deloading, which was good, but
freshened you up.
I think it freshened me up, but it was also, like I was a little worried about whether or not how I'd go. Like I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to, get even close to my current PBs. But it was great, like having everyone there, all the energy in the room. Got to, I didn't quite make it all the way to a double weight body weight deadlift.
Yeah. What did you get?
I got up to 160, so my target was 180. Couldn't really shift to 170. I gave it a crack, but it wasn't fucking going.
Glued it to the ground when you weren't looking.
Like
maybe Barry came in.
He would too.
Yeah, he's a trickster.
But got a PB on my squats, which was cool.
Yeah, what did you squat, man?
150.
150. That is incredible. That's a lot of bloody weight.
That was pretty cool. So getting one for 150 there was pretty sweet.
Big legs on you, mate.
Yeah, big levers.
Big drumsticks.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. No chicken legs here. But then and then obviously, I think like the probably the part that suffered the most was my pull-ups, because I didn't get any chance to work on them. So it was. I mean, I got more than I could have done at the start of the year. But
you progressed.
So I progressed some, but I was actually pretty happy with my push-ups as well. Being able to do 32 continuous push-ups, I thought I'd be lucky to get 20. And I got all the way to 32, and that was pretty sick.
That's cool, man.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so it was a good time. It's really motivated me and inspired me to focus a bit more on my health and on my training for next year, and to really, center in on getting really fit and really strong and really healthy. Seeing what I can do there and making a few changes in my lifestyle and whatever it is I need to do to really come back to, just like get rid of those little niggling things that have been, kind of there my whole life. Chronic runny nose and a little bit of probably unnecessary fatigue and just really like get on top of it all.
So we kind of say consistency over complexity.
100%.
So you've had a taste now what it's like to be strong. And to run fast, haven't you? And so that taste, if you want to get in a groove now. It sounds 100%. Like now you know what it can feel like, and you don't know until you had that contrast, do you? And it's credit to you that you did the work. So you kind of got the development, and you got the results, and you got the feelings, and I think a big part of it, like you said, is the team, isn't it? That helps pull you along and lifts you to higher levels, and
for sure.
So it's really cool. So credit to you, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. It's cool. I think it's a fine balance. I think, especially for me, being someone who's kind of like my natural tendencies are towards I guess like people pleasing and trying to feel what I think is gonna impress other people, as opposed to what feels probably more authentic. It's more like that's my natural tendencies pull me more towards doing that kind of thing. But it's been an interesting kind of it's been a really interesting, I guess, like in a dance of like, cool, like, well, how do I be in this space and in this place where I'm like within myself, where like I'm wanting to do my best, and I'm wanting to like go beyond where I've gone before, but how do I do that in a way that's not that's for me, and it's about me and not about what it looks like on the outside, even though I'm doing it in a way that is very much like external, like, you know, there'll be external results, and that will be the measure. So it's been really interesting.
Yeah. That's cool. And if we can say, like, you won an award this year, like we had an award ceremony, so got the most promising. So I think Jack's story from this current year is just one of the best stories I think that we had at MMT. Like, if we could, if you don't mind us telling, you know, a bit about that story, how, like, Jack's a person that loves to know everything and do everything, and and sort of, but that can be a bit of a downfall as well, because you don't get really good at one particular thing, and like we had, I'll let you do it in your words in a minute, but we got to a point probably 2-3 months ago where Jack was probably a bit flat and wasn't performing, wasn't getting the numbers in the door that we wanted him to get, and he wanted himself to get. So had some good honest chats with each other, and I'll try to get you in the right direction. So if you can kind of tell us about that, and then what happened as a result. I think that's why you got the reward. So reward and award. So tell us in your own words what you were going through. How's that feel, by the way?
Pretty loose.
Starting to come good. Play the piano now. Let's do your other one while we
used to.
You tell us about used to play the bloody piano.
Yeah, I did.
The bloody Mozart. Beethoven.
Yeah, man, played for like 7 years.
7 years.
But in terms of the, you know, like the last couple of months, I definitely was not really where I wanted to be. I was feeling pretty out of alignment within myself, and, you know, like a lot of the things I was trying to do to make things work here were not really working for me. I was seeing very few people, had a lot of empty days. A lot of it was just not working, and I couldn't really figure out why. And so I ended up having a good chat with you guys, but also had a chat with one of my other mentors, and it helped me really kind of realign with, like, what do I really, you know, the real gist of it was basically like, what do you really want? Like, what do you really want to do?
Yeah.
And, you know, some of the things I came to is, you know, kind of splitting up what I'm interested in into different categories rather than doing them or trying to do them all at once. You know, having a space for, you know, my own personal interests and pursuits, and having a space specifically for bodywork and for doing the things that we do here. Rather than trying to do it all in one go. And so that, like, you know, once I'd had those chats, and, you know, you'd helped me kind of reorient a little bit more towards, you know, just focusing on the bodywork and doing that while I'm here. That really let me, one of the things was just kind of cleared the air pretty much straight away, which was really, really good. And it really helped me to, you know, I guess, like, reconnect with you guys as well, because I was spending a lot of time down at the Brighton clinic while I was there, and, you know, most of the days I was there were like solo. It's not a lot of team happening down there, mostly just because of the nature of the layout and all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's a different ballgame when you're in the clinic all on your own.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, one of the cool things that happened as a result of that was that, you know, like, fuck. I started doing more of my own thing outside of here. I started, you know, like, just like taking more responsibility for what I wanted and what I wanted to have happen. You know, both here and externally in the rest of my life. And, you know, that pretty much immediately translated to a really big boost in my flow and in my numbers. It's a good spot.
Yeah. So when you were here, you were present, you were ready to do bodywork, you didn't block off things to do the spiral, or your other kind of work, other meetings and other outside things. They were kind of dedicated, you open it up.
Yeah.
And immediately the universe picked up on that as well.
100%.
So it sort of, without even telling anyone, the things just opened up, and we mucked around a little bit with some pricing and things like that, but that wasn't the main thing, was it? It was your shift internally, that you were here to help, be present, and like I said to Jack, you're in the top 15 body workers in the world. Yeah. That's fucking cool. That's an achievement. That's something to hang your hat on. How many people in the world can say I'm in the top 15 at something?
About 15 of us.
Yeah. Not many people can be the top echelon. And like, look at what you've got here. You've got support. You know, you've got so many different diversity of characters here, but experience and, you know, people that can help you. You know, and so and just all our process as well, like our body work, just do that. People are going to be happy, you're going to be in service, and it's going to help you with other things down the track as well. When you're doing other pursuits that are of interest to you, you're going to be good at it, because you know how to attract them in, how to you know, do what they need, you know, work together. Negotiation is a good word, I think. Like, that means make a deal, an agreement. What do you need? What can I give you? You know, how's that feel? Is that right? And you know, and backward and forward. So it's all about negotiation, agreements, and being tuned in, being present. So you kind of went back to all these basic principles that we kind of hold here, and then it just worked. Yeah. It was, 100%. And it was consistency over complexity.
That's it, man.
Yeah. If you be the consistent and do the basics, when there's a chance to go into the complex stuff, you go there. You know. So 100%. So it's like I think that's what happened with you, man. You kind of had a bit of an analogy that I said to the guys a couple of weeks ago. I was lighting a fire out in my backyard. You're right. Back in there. I was lighting a fire, and it's been really wet here in Melbourne all year, and like everything's just waterlogged, it's soaked, and like I had all these piles of old branches and leaves and the fern fronds in there. That I wanted to burn, but these piles were still saturated, and there was lots of dry leaves around, because it was a couple of clear days, and there was lots of, you know, so I could use these dry leaves. So this fire was really hard to get started, but I was using the dry leaves, so the stuff that was easy to light to get going, and I had to keep on putting more and more on this. So the point was, it was hard to get started, but I used the things that were easy to get it started. And then, you know, once I was working at it, kept on feeding it, then it got going, okay? Then I was able to put the bigger logs on, the green fern fronds on there, and it still went. So that's sort of symbolic of the more complex things, the bigger things to tackle. You know what I mean? So I go with the dry leaves first. Do what's easy first. Get it going. Get momentum. Okay, and then you can work on the stuff that's more complex, harder. You know, because you've got it going. And the thing with a fire as well, as long as you keep on feeding it fuel, it keeps on going. But if you don't tend to it, it goes out, type of thing as well. So that's where the consistency kind of message comes in as well. Right there, man.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, so Jack's a real testament to that. That's why he won the award. Woo. He went back to basics. He was here, he's present, he opened up his diary, and he's made a lot of people happy because of the body work that he's done. So yeah, it was cool. And it's like, I just love Jack's story this year, because of just seeing him lifting, seeing him sprinting, seeing him having a crack at those pull-ups. Fucking fantastic, man. It's good, like, yeah, he's out of comfort zone. You know, doing stuff that was a challenge for him, because it's not his normal game. You know, it's like, and like for us, our normal game is not the meditation, it's not the, you know, the Chinese medicine or the stuff that you're into, you know what I mean? So Scotty, Jack, you know, bringing that element to us has softened us up and given us another element that we can draw upon to help people. So it's a fucking cool thing. Whereabouts, man?
More down there.
Over there. Yeah. So yeah, tell us a bit about the Christmas party, man. How did that go for you?
I left fairly early.
Yeah, it's alright.
I went, I was there at the start, which was pretty sick. It was nice to catch up with everybody. Good to see Jarek and Maddie having a bit of a wrestle. It's always pretty fun.
Yeah.
A bit of an alligator roll there on Ken.
Ken copped it.
But actually after that, my partner and I went down to Wilson's prom.
Oh yeah.
And so we drove all the way down there. We got there like kind of after dark.
Yeah.
Just lighten that up just a smidge, yeah.
Into there?
Yeah, into there, yeah. And saw a bunch of wildlife, which was really, really cool. And spent a whole day out in nature. And went and did a big walk. It was fucking brutal after the sprints. Doing a 10k walk up a mountain, but hey, what are you gonna do? It's pretty good fun nonetheless. It was really nice actually, just spending a whole day out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
It was probably like the best thing I could have asked for, to be honest. Like I wasn't really feeling like getting hammered or anything like that, and by the sounds of things, I probably left at the perfect time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. It was really nice to see everybody. It was good to catch up. It was nice to see Tash win the Practitioner of the Year. That was really, really cool. She really deserved it.
Yeah.
I think you guys chose really well, giving that to her.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just great fun, man. Dressing up with everybody, wandering around.
Yeah.
Had a really good time.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna fire just a couple of quick questions at you, so quick answers.
Go on.
Where's your favourite part of the body to treat?
Necks.
Yep,
necks, base of the skull.
Okay, if me and you're going to run a workshop anywhere in the world, doesn't matter, anywhere is possible, where would we do run the workshop?
Bali.
All right. In 30 seconds or less, can you sum up MMT?
Sum up MMT in 30 seconds or less. I'd say MMT is the place to come for the best quality bodywork in the world. It's somewhere that prioritizes the overall well-being of the people we treat, and where we're just dedicated to getting really good results for everyone who comes in whatever form that means for them.
Yeah, awesome. Nice. And something you're going to work on next year? Well, you probably already said that, but yeah, what's something that you're going to aspire to do next year? And
something I'm going to aspire to do next year. I'm going to get the vast majority of my studies out of the way.
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
Yeah.
You've been studying for life, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to get 9 of the 11 subjects I've got left to go done.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with it the year after.
Right. And I got one last curly one for you. You've asked me this one too.
Okay.
We're gonna put a tattoo on here.
Face tattoo.
A face tattoo. What is your face tattoo?
Mine is yin and yang, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's balance. And that it's the balance between simplicity and complexity, and it's the inclusion of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet. That's really cool. Yeah, I like it. I was thinking about that balance one too. My one I'll kind of come up with, I was thinking about getting a footprint under here as I like to symbolise what we represent here, but I ended up going authenticity.
Yeah.
There may be connection there. Authenticity and connection are two things that are massive for me, like human connection. That is the ultimate currency, you know what I mean? We're not islands, we're not here to live solo lives. What's the point if we're not connecting in and being valid to, you know, somebody, being of value to somebody. You know, it's a really important thing, you know, to be able to contribute and be seen. So be able to connect, but I think in an authentic way is really important. And I kind of said to the guys this morning, like when you're authentic, you risk ostracizing yourself, you know, like, and lacking that connection. But the people that really love you for being who you are authentically, they'll hang around.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so you're still going to connect in with them. So it's the risk that you take, but you'd rather have the whole world against you than your own soul. So I think it's worth the risk, but it's something we navigate throughout our life with authenticity and that connection, that attachment with others. So yeah, it's a dance, but in end of the day, you don't want to be resenting yourself, repressing yourself, suppressing all these things that you want to do and want to be because of others. You know, it's sort of, you know, so, yeah. Anyway, we can probably leave on that.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for being well done on your award.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you, mate. Well done. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for this year, and we'll bring you more content next year.
Yeah.
Done.